Renee, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Great to be here. Thanks, Scott.
Hey, I've got some great news.
Okay, awesome.
Guess what? The podcast has a sponsor.
Epic.
Do you know who the sponsor is? Digital Influence. How good's that? I can't believe I didn't do this beforehand. Like, we've been running this podcast now for 150 episodes, had no sponsor. And then I was thinking the other day, and I was listening to these really good podcasts. The guys at Opus have the Property Academy podcast, and it's actually sponsored by their own company. And I was like, well, why don't we sponsor our own podcast? So
Genius.
Officially today, Digital Influence, which is our agency here, we're the sponsor of the podcast. So thank you to Digital Influence, and look forward to maybe hearing some more about Digital Influence during the podcast, but also as we go on our road shows and we travel New Zealand with the podcast and with Digital Influence, more people will find us as we can invest some more money in promoting the podcast. So how cool is that?
Nice. Epic. I love it.
Nice. Hey, so we've got a great episode today. And I think you've really written some good stuff here. You wanted to look through what happened in Q2, I guess the first 6 months of the year, and really see what are some of the learnings that we've got that can actually help business owners. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Let's get into number one, though. What are you starting to see?
Look, one thing that stood out as I look back, it's always great to reflect and learn, right? Take those learnings, but yeah, definitely one standout recently is working with business owners that are like well-established businesses, so 20, 40, even 60, 80 plus years. And they're successful. They've got quality offerings. They've got the businesses right in the back end, right? They've got that infrastructure and their service offerings. But what's happening is that they've relied on old school word of mouth and handshakes and referrals, and that network has dried up as people are retiring, and there's like a generational shift.
Yeah.
So that's moving on, right?
Yeah.
And then they've found that all of a sudden, it seems to have happened quite quickly, is that the younger businesses that may not have the same quality or service offerings are now beating them online with their online presence.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, so that younger generation sees them, the ones that are showing up more as being more credible.
Yeah. Interesting conversation, because I saw it happen live inside a high performance review that we were doing, and company been around 40 years, but they're not getting the same traction as they used to. And you could tell the business owner's frustrated by it. And you can tell that the way things were working, where they would just get a slow and steady stream of referrals, was not happening anymore. And he was like, well, what am I going to do about it? Because and they have a good product, right? The challenge for them, and a challenge for a lot of business owners, and it definitely happens in the professional services too. I know lawyers are a lot like this. Our accountants like this. They all say all about referrals. Which is great until that happens. Your referrals start drying up because the people are retiring, all that type of stuff, right? So what are businesses, what can they do? What's a quick fix that they can do to turn this around? Because young people, yes, they're native to being online, and they're native to creating, and here's the craziest thing, you can look very, very big and very, very slick without having too much substance behind you. And we've seen this, people coming into our industry, very, very slick, but not much behind them. So it can happen. You can create this perception online.
Absolutely. And that is the perception, right? And that's what the public doesn't know any different unless they know the brand already. So definitely one thing is that referral network, that's now moved to an online presence. There's still the face-to-face, it's still out there, it's still relevant, but there's now that online aspect of referrals, of that word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, it's really key to work on your Google reviews and repurpose those reviews as social proof, and work on elevating your brand and personalising it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Showing the people behind the brand, showing the team.
Yeah. And I think it's the cool thing is if you're an established business, and you start to move into the online world, you can actually start to get some pretty gains pretty quickly, because you actually have the online you have the offline reputation anyway. You're just now taking it online, and you're showcasing what you're doing in that format. And I love what we talked about, repurposing Google reviews. Being on LinkedIn is a really, really good one. I call it the ultimate warm call. And warm referrals from LinkedIn. So being on those kind of platforms can really, really help a business. And getting caught in the act of what you're doing, that type of stuff can really help. And remember, people want to know what you're about. They want to see that you have some substance. And, you know, just because you're 40 years or 50 years in business, don't rest on that, you know, and that's the thing today. Don't rest on it, because there's plenty of businesses out there. There's plenty of actual stories, you know, that have rested on their laurels and all of a sudden they're out of business. And, you know, one came to mind straight away there is Kodak, you know, like even taxis, you know, who gets a taxi these days? It's very, very rare because, you know, once again, a company or industry rested on its laurels, you know, and all of a sudden, boom, someone else came in and took their lunch.
Yeah, that's interesting. One of the companies that I've been talking to recently, and they're very well established, they've been in business for over 60 years, and the challenge is to get their directors around to that modern way of thinking. And they said that one of the directors still calls taxis. He won't get an Uber. And I was like, oh, there are still taxis.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like what you have to do, and this is, I'll talk to this business owner, like if that's you and getting taxis, that's great, but don't have your own bias on the marketplace, because the marketplace has a completely different take on this. And unless you're prepared to buy your own product and do business with yourself, then, you know, okay, have that way of thinking. But if you need the marketplace to buy from you and you want to continue to have a legacy business, because if you're going for 60 years, you probably want to go for 100, 120 years. Well, that thinking is not going to get you to 120 years.
No, and I think another key to that is the storytelling and then around the content as well. So, you know, these established businesses or the people new to the market, in fact, as well, storytelling is key, and to stand out from the crowd. You know, we started working with Master Max Paint recently, and the last quarter. They're amazing. They've got this epic brand that they've built up in Christchurch, locally owned and operated. They only distribute to Mitre 10. And now they've spent so long building up their brand, they now need to elevate their marketing. And one of the key things is educational content that we're doing with them. I watched Jared's. He's going to get the video this afternoon. I think his first sort of attempts at doing video in that space, and they were amazing. And he's enjoyed the process, right? And that's going to help build up that know, like, and trust.
The interesting part is I just watched that video, and like I didn't know that product. I needed that product. I actually used their paints. It was funny because when you came in and started talking about them, I was like, I've seen that brand somewhere. And I went home and I had two things of it in my garage. I paint my fence with it and I paint my deck with it. But the product that he was talking about in that video is about a preparation paint for my deck. And I'm like, I need that. And then when he was talking about it, he was educating me. And I'm like, right, I'm going to go buy that in the weekend. You know, like you don't know what you don't know. And educating people and sharing those insights is really important. And all of a sudden I'm going to Mitre 10 to buy that.
Perfect.
And it's legit because I use their other paint. I know how good it is before I even met them. But now I didn't actually realize you needed to prep. I just washed it down. And he explains in this video why washing with water is not enough. And really, very cool. Very cool. And so there's a business established, not used to doing anything online, now doing things online. We got clear on the strategy first too, right? Yeah. We took them through the strategy. We took them through high performance review. Out the back of that, got a report, see where they can win. And then now here's an area where you can win. Videos are key to that, and starting sharing their insights. So very, very cool. It's one thing that most businesses really need to be looking at.
Yeah, that educational aspect. And, you know, quite often I'll sit down with somebody and like a business owner that's been in the business for however long, and they don't think that they've got anything relevant to share. But the thing is that they've got a wealth of knowledge in their heads about their product or industry. And, you know, there's little tweaks or little bits of wisdom, like you just shared about the deck prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The challenge for a lot of business owners, they're so busy in the day-to-day, the whacking and the cracking, they haven't taken time to sit back and look at it. Like I understand the value of this, but I didn't. Coming out of the corporate world, I didn't. I thought when Brett McFall told me in 2006, hey, share your content, give it away for free. I thought he was an idiot, and you know, multiple millions of dollars later, I know he was correct. But you don't know it. You're in the whacking and the cracking of the day to day, and you don't think what you're doing is that important to people, or people wouldn't want to know that. But the fact is, people do want to know that, because here's the most important thing now, because like we're discussing this now. What are we? July 2025. Was this important in July 2022? Yes, but not as important as now. And this is because where AI is moving the game to. We're moving into the answer engines where we need to be recommended by AI. This is where those videos and putting up that content on YouTube and getting it recommended by these answer engines, whether it's a ChatGPT, whether it's a Gemini, whether it's a Claude, whatever, on the next ones to come. Video is going to be a big part of that, and the transcribing of that video and how people interact with that content. So you've got to get this, what's inside your head, you've got to get it out into the world now, because here's the thing. People are still going with problems that they want answers to, but now they're getting recommendations versus just search results.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just future-proofs your business, right? And I guess in that, the age of AI, having a personalisation to your brand. So, you know, people can relate to it. I've had a couple of meetings recently where I've sat down and they follow me on LinkedIn, or they've looked at my content, and the prospects said back to me that they feel like they already know me because they've watched video.
How good.
Yeah.
And that's just proof that it works. I know I've been doing this long enough now that I know it works, and I can, look in the camera there and say, this is the one thing you should be doing as a business owner, is creating some form of content. Great to see MasterMax is doing. Great to see the clients that we have are doing it. And look, I know because I hear the stories. No one likes doing it at the start, right? No one wants a video camera put in your face, and but if you can get through it, I tell you what, the world starts to open up, and people will start to see your videos, they'll start to see your content. Because here's the thing, the game has actually changed. It's no longer called social. It's not social media anymore. It's actually media. And this is the real deal, because the likes of TikTok really started to change the way the algorithms work, right? So TikTok really, it went from need to have followers, etc., to actually having performance posts. So you don't actually need your grid to look good anymore, all that sort of fancy stuff. I had a guy, he explained it really, really well the other day. I was watching a video of his. He talked about, social media in the past was like going to an art gallery. Everything was curated and perfect. Now it's more like having graffiti and getting your post out there, getting your content out there working for you. And this is the thing. This is the way media works. And so it's not so much a social media anymore, it's media. And you actually have to think like that. And you are actually competing with all the other media.
Yeah, and like when you strip it back to the bones a bit, for business owners, they struggle to come up with that content and being consistent in that space, and just where to start, which is, if we look at a group of Paints MasterMax, where they came through the strategy session and high performance review, and we mapped out that content for them and what that looks like, and hold their hand going through that process.
Oh, I just wouldn't do this by myself. Like you need, like, people are good. Like MasterMax is a good example. They're great at building a product. They build years and years and years of perfecting a product, a paint product and all the other stuff that they have. We couldn't do that. No. We wouldn't even try to do that, but we know how to market it, because we've spent years and years and years and years understanding what it takes to market. You made a good point there, and I just wanted to capture it a bit more. Video, it's a real trust builder, right? And what I always say to people say, "Oh, really, video?" I was like, "Yeah, look, if my mum was here and mum was sitting and we were having a coffee and we're in the cafe, and the newsreader from TV1 walked in the cafe, every old person's head would just swivel around and go, that's Simon Dello, or that's who and such. Yeah. I really wouldn't, because I haven't watched the news for probably 20 years, but they would, right? And it's because every night those people appear in those people's lives, and they have authority with them. And all they're doing is using video to do that, And sadly, they spit doom and gloom most of the time, but they still become a bit of a celebrity, And doing video and building your brand using videos is pretty much the same. People start to know, they start to like, and they start to trust you. Especially if you give them some ideas, they implement them, then they come back, you give some more ideas, they implement them. All of a sudden, you start to you get known in their world. Does it mean that you're going to become a celebrity? No, but it doesn't. And you actually don't want that. You can make more money without being a celebrity just by using these tools that we have here today. So video is the number one trust builder. And if you're thinking about it, what's the number they need to call?
Give me a call on 022 571 5055, and we can get the ball rolling with some strategy.
Yeah. Look, you're one conversation away. Like, have a chat with Renee. She's really experienced in this. Like, the good thing about Renee is you're doing it. You're like, whatever you're going to be showing people, you're actually doing it. So I think that's fantastic.
You got to walk the walk, right?
Yeah. No, like, and trust. So important. Don't sleep on it.
Yeah.
What else?
Look, I think that the power of partnership as well. And I think I've definitely noticed like we wrap around a business when we go in for that strategy partner level. Like example of MasterMax, again, where they've really opened up their business to us. They've trusted us. They've let us in. And that's where the magic happens. That's when we can really get the ball rolling and move the needle for businesses. You know, we look at another example being Future Bound. When I first met Jackie,
great business.
so high energy and passionate about what they do. And like the Future Bound, they're changing people's lives by helping them pay off their mortgage faster. And they're just epic, beautiful people as well. And Jackie had all different providers doing like email marketing over here, SEO over here, Google Ads over here. And she was constantly juggling all of these providers and having to be the one that was being proactive to get them to implement things.
Yeah.
So I had a really good conversation. It was actually a meeting in my car outside of another meeting. It was a really busy day. And we had a great laugh as well. But it was kind of just the opportunity to really pull everything together under one roof, right? And to match her energy. And so now she's having to just like deal with us, but not as a provider. We don't do surface level marketing. So it's a lot deeper than that. And that's, I think, the key to it, right?
Yeah.
That deep partnership.
Yeah, partnership's key. And look, one thing I realize, and this if you're a business owner listening to this is advice for you, and it's not about digital influence, but here's the thing. The reason we created Marketing Partner is every business owner that I believe they want us to deeply understand their business.
Yeah.
Right? They want us to understand their business and care about their business. And hand on heart, I think that's what you should do for your clients. If you're listening to this, you should deeply care about your customers. And that's what the business owners want from us. They also want proactive. They want a proactive strategic partnership, right? They don't want to be chasing here, there, and everywhere to get the answers when they're paying you to give them the answers, right? And that was another reason why we created Marketing Partner, because we want to be your strategic partner and we want to be proactive. And we're proactive in sending surveys, etc. We're constantly trying to be better. And I think that's a tip for you in your business towards your customers. You know, are you being strategic? Are you being proactive? And the third thing, I wanted to make sure we have effective communication wrapped around with accountability. And that's why we created Marketing Partner, because now we're having strategic conversations, but we're also having effective communication, and it has accountability to it. And that was what business owners want. And I think that's why the power of a partnership is so important, especially in 2025, more important in 2026, and even more and more important in 2027, that you have someone helping you with your marketing, because times are going to get harder as more and more people enter the marketplace as the market starts to hot up again.
Absolutely. And that tailored strategy and that wraparound that we offer, it's absolutely gold. And like you said, we work on those relationships constantly as well. And I've been in the industry long enough, as have you, Scott, to see the churn rate normally in an agency, right?
Yep.
And our churn rate in the last quarter for Strategy Partner was it was zero.
Yeah, we just celebrated all the team. We gave them $100 voucher to a restaurant our clients' restaurants. So they got to choose from about 6 or 7 restaurants. $100 voucher, because here's the cool thing. I love celebrating victories, but the cool thing about that is the reason we're no churn is we're doing those 3 things really well. So that was across the board, actually, growth partner and strategy partner clients. So really cool to celebrate that, because the team's put a lot of work into that. And look, we know it's tough out there. We know the market in July 25 is tough. You know, people were saying, thrive in 25, and other people were saying survive till 25, or, like the market is tough out there. The good news is, if you're prepared to market yourself, hey, you can get wins because everyone else is gone. Everyone else is hunkered down. So great time to be proactively marketing yourself.
Yeah. And look, I think it's really important when you're out looking for an agency as well, that you partner with the right one. So it's a high trust relationship, it's a high trust situation, right?
Totally.
Initially, until they get in the fold of everything.
Yeah.
I've heard the horror stories over the years of, different providers and what can and can't happen. And so there can be, some business owners that I've spoken to, they may have been burnt 1 or 2 times
Yeah.
before.
I'm lucky enough, I've been in this industry a long time, and I'm lucky enough to be involved with a group of agencies around the world. And it's really interesting because the younger agencies, they really, really struggle because they overpromise. They overpromise a lot. So you start to see that because they need the business to come in the door. And look, we've all probably been there as we started our business, but you can definitely see where marketing agencies have, there's a bit of a bad rap out there because people are promising stuff. The challenge, it's not a bad thing to overpromise. It's just where they get it wrong is the time frame, because marketing takes at least 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 months to really start to snowball. And I've seen this. It doesn't matter. I've seen this years and years and years. You get some quick wins and you can, but in general, it takes time to bed down that consistency of message, the frequency of reach to become relevant. So people know, like, and trust you enough. And that's the challenge for business owners, right? To stick around long enough. And that's where, we got to have these conversations. You've got to actually turn people away. I've got to turn people away. Yeah. You're not ready yet. Hey, here's what you need to do first. Then come back.
Yeah, and that, like you said, that consistency, it's absolutely key, right, to marketing. We found that, some business owners just aren't prepared to back themselves, because they may have been burned, or it's the down market, or whatever's going on in their industry, and so they hold back. But we've seen it firsthand a number of times, over and over again. The businesses that are consistent through their marketing are the ones that come out on top, right?
Yeah. Well, marketing is a funny thing because it involves money, and people, it's a risk for people to give you their money, right? And they're betting with their money that you're going to look after it and send more back in the way of customers, and that's a real thing, and that's why some people, and that's why I say sometimes it's quality and quantity. Some people have to see lots of content before they make a decision. Some people only have to see 1 or 2 things. And that's the same with making decisions, right? Some people hold themselves back. The challenge, I would say, if you're going to market your business, though, you be prepared to stay in the queue. Don't wait for the perfect time. Like, today's the perfect time. Building that strategy takes a bit of time. It's not like have a meeting, click your fingers and let's go. You've got to do some thinking. And you got to spend some time getting it right, and I think that's the key. I think you've got it down here, which I really, really like. Marketing's like going to the gym. Consistency compounds over time. You don't walk out of the gym after day 1 going, look at me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, momentum matters, right? So if you stop and start, then you're always building off from zero again.
Probably the biggest waste of time is stopping and starting your marketing. Actually, you're better not to run marketing. If you're going to stop and start. I remember I've talked to a couple of people who do this. They stop and start their marketing, and it really, you can tell that their business is not as good as it could be. It's interesting. I was listening to a really interesting podcast this morning about money, and they were talking about how consistency in the market was really, really key. And the people that got the best return out of their shareholder portfolios were this particular type of people. Do you want to have a guess what type of people they were?
I don't know. Who would it be?
They were dead people.
Right.
Dead people were making more money in their share portfolios than anyone else, because people, and it was a big study done by a big company in America, and they found that people were going in and out of their share accounts and trading. They weren't making as much money as dead people, because dead people were leaving their money in their accounts. And the other second group after that was the people who couldn't find their passwords.
I love that.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, that's always a nightmare as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just wanted to look at some quick wins that you as business owners can do straight away off the bat to get the ball rolling.
Nice.
From what we've looked at.
What quick wins have you got?
Oh, a simple one, like update your Google business profile.
Yeah.
So, that space on Google is becoming more and more important, especially with the integration of AI coming into search, right? So update it with fresh photos, frequently asked questions. Your services as well, personalize that brand. Work on your Google reviews. Try and set a number, a bit of a goal into your reviews.
Yeah, we've done this with clients, and it's amazing to see the results that clients get back. All of a sudden, consistently now getting reviews just by focusing on it. Get the profile looking good, and then consistently asking for reviews. you'll be surprised. People will give you reviews. It's I haven't met a business owner yet if they haven't asked 10 people, if they even have two reviews by the end of the week, you probably end up having more. So yeah, totally.
And then repurposing those reviews. So there's some content ideas as well, So repurpose that on through social media channels as well. So you're showing off your social proof, backing up the work that you do. And then, looking at that educational as well. So look at the frequently asked questions that you're getting asked all the time by consumers or by your customers, and turning that into some content as well. And then I guess it's also about looking at your existing network and how you're talking to them, your existing clients. You're staying current and being back in front of them. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper to upsell an existing client than bring on a new one, right?
Yeah.
So sell deeper, I think, as well. Just look at the ways that you're communicating with that network too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're really quick wins. I'd add a couple there, like video. I know we harp on about it. People say, "Oh, what do I say?" Well, you could definitely talk about the problems that you solve and the objections that you get about your product. What are some of the common things that people say about your product all the time? Go and answer those objections. Real simple videos to create. You versus a comparison, so you versus another product to some degree, or a competitor is an easy video to create. Obviously talk about your reviews. One thing we've started doing, and you'll start to see these more, is myself as a recording some comments about some of the reviews we're getting and having the review in the background. So then under that video will be the review as well, written, so people can go and read it. And just talking about the customers themselves. And that's like just real simple things that you can do to be creating more content to get out in front of people. And I think the cadence you get into that, it's hard at the start. It gets easier as you go along.
Yeah, and look, consistency beats perfection, right? So yeah, cool. And look, we've had the pleasure of working with dozens of business owners in the last 6 months. And they've opened themselves up and come on board and gone through the strategy session and high performance review process with us. It's always epic. There's always some aha moments in that, but getting really clear on that strategy is always going to be the biggest learning and the best place to start, right? I've seen so many business owners with their random acts of marketing, like doing a post here or a post there, and they're just trying to try a few things to see what works, but end up that consistency sort of falls off, or they haven't got that strategy clear, and they end up throwing money into the wind and get frustrating because their marketing isn't working, but there wasn't actually any strategy to that marketing, right?
And I get it, because I've been in business and I've seen the other side, and and I know how frustrating that can be, but at the end of the day, I've seen other people come in the door too. Oh, we ran a marketing campaign. I was like, we ran a radio campaign. Cool. What did you do? Oh, we ran it for 6 weeks. And I was like, what were the results? Oh, we don't know. We didn't. And the reason is you're not giving people enough time to actually know who you are, where you are, what you have to offer, and why they should buy from you. It definitely takes time for people to get that relevancy of who you are and what you have to offer and why they should buy from you. So, random acts of marketing, definitely, it's not actually really marketing, it's speculating, is what I would call that.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, I guess, right? And being really clear. So, we've taken some learnings from those sessions as well. But obviously it just gives you the tools to really set up your marketing and go forward from there. We've worked with business owners off the back of that, or just had the pleasure of seeing some of them implement the tactics themselves and just elevate their brand. So it's always really cool to see.
That's awesome as well, right? So we've designed that program in such a way where people can come in, spend the time with the team, whiteboard in here, get a whole bunch of information, bring back a beautiful world-class report to them that's bespoke to your business. And then you can do 3 things. You can do it yourself. You can get someone else to do it, or you can ask us for help. And I think the key for this though is getting clear on where you are right now, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. And I think that we wrap that around really nicely. And whether you do it with us or not do it with us, we're still giving you that platform or that document that you have confidence that you can actually do some stuff. And it's really cool to see some people starting to do take that information and use it themselves as well.
Yeah, because it's exciting, it gives you that firm plan to move forward with rather than the guesswork. And yeah, it just puts that map in place, right? It gives you this strategy is the foundation of your marketing house. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's you must design your marketing strategy to pick the tactics to produce the results you want. I'm sorry, I've been doing this 20 plus years. There's that I know that that'll be on my gravestone along with celebrate your victories and have fun, take action. But I know that to be true. I just know it. You must design your marketing strategy to pick the tactics to produce the results you want. The other way around does not work. And the other way around is speculating. The other way around costs a lot of business owners a lot of money and they waste their money. And that's, I'm sorry, that's just the truth that I know to be true.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, that strategy, keeping in mind we talked about video a lot in this session, but the power of video, and if you need a hand getting that story out, then that strategy and high performance review is a perfect place to start with that as well.
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even so brainstorming out some messaging with the team as well. So getting really clear on that positioning, just all those key basic fundamentals of your marketing. That strategy session and high performance review structure that we've got in place just really empowers business owners.
And then to know that it's backed by a team of really quality marketing experts.
Yeah.
We employ the best people. The coolest part, I was just listening to a story this morning in our daily where the team went to a photo shoot with one of the restaurants and the owner didn't want to do what we had planned, and we had to come up with a new plan in 5 minutes. Because we only had so much time allocated to it, and we weren't leaving just because the business owner didn't want to do that at that stage. Something had to change inside their business. Team pivoted, and all of a sudden, boom, we've created this other concept and then filmed it that day in 2 hours. And I was just like, wow, that is cool. We know the outcome that we want to achieve because this business owner has been with us for a long time. We listened to what they wanted to do next, and then we pivoted and created something world-class. It's going to be great to see the outcome of that. And that's the value, I guess, we bring to the marketplace. A lot of times you don't actually have to do the thinking anymore. It's up to us.
Yeah, and the team like Rachel and the team are just so skilled at making people feel relaxed and making it happen. And they're exceptional at what they do.
And that's the cool thing about if you're going to run video, do it with someone because they'll help you get it right, And it doesn't matter if you and ah because you can edit all that sort of stuff out. Doesn't matter if you're having a bad hair day, it just matters that you're putting your content out there and you're getting in front of people so you can build that know, like, and trust. This has been great. What else have we got?
Look, and staying open. So stay open to change. Don't shut yourself off like we were saying as well. Get really strong on that educational content. And, if you need a hand with your marketing, reach out. We'd love to chat with you.
Yeah. I would say it's July 25, right? This will come out next week, this video. Running into August, September, October, November, December. You want to finish strong. Let's finish the year strong. So that starts with you getting clear on what is it you want as a goal. What is it you want to do? So maybe even take the time over the next, once you get this, and you're like, what are the goal that you're going to use to finish strong? And if you want, tag me and Renee in on your goal for finishing strong in 2025. Because here's the thing, if you focus on it and you put some energy towards it, guess what's going to happen? Things are going to start to happen for you. So if you want some help, what's the number to call?
My number is 022-571-5055.
Awesome. Hey, Renee, thanks for your time. I'm looking forward to people contacting you because I think people want to finish strong. Even if if you've had a bit of a bumpy year, put that behind you. Let's finish strong in 2025. The best way to do it is contact the team at Digital Influence. Hey, by the way, thanks to the new sponsor.
Yeah, thanks, sponsor.
Thanks, sponsor. Thanks, Digital Influence. You're a great company to sponsor our podcast. The Marketing for Business people really, really appreciate it. Look, hey, this has been a great episode. All I need you to do is share this with a business owner. These tips can really, really help business owners. So if you're a business owner listening to this, share this with another business owner. If you're in a networking group, a BNI or the networkers or something like that, share it with your BNI group. The more people that listen to this, the more people we can help. And it really helps us get up in the rankings. We're consistently in the top 1 to 10 in New Zealand for marketing. And we love being number one sometimes. So do your bit, help us out by sharing it. Until then, as always, have fun, take action, and celebrate your victories.